Okay, so what we're going to do today is an abstract pastel lesson, and you're going to go through steps. Your teacher will take you through steps that you are supposed to do, and everybody's going to have the same instructions, but everyone will end up with their own unique piece of art. And so I'm just going to go through the instructions and create this as an example, okay? So what you're going to do is you're going to start by turning your paper any direction you want, either horizontally or vertically, and then you're going to use a ruler and draw 5 straight lines anywhere that you want, okay? They should begin on one edge of the paper and end on another edge, okay? And you want to take a moment and make at least a few of the lines thicker, because this is going to add variety to your design, okay? So what I'm going to do, you're just going to start right with Sharpie or another permanent marker. That's one. So I have my 5 straight lines, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to decide which ones I want to make thicker, and I'm just going to use a thicker marker to do that. I'm still going to use my ruler. Now when you come back, it's possible that you're even going to want to make these lines even thicker, and that's fine. But you just kind of want to come back in and add a little bit of thickness. And I'm going to actually, on this one, I'm going to draw, I want it to be thick, so I'm going to draw another line. And then I'm going to fill that with my black marker. You may want to have a piece of paper underneath this on your desk. I'm staying away from this edge because I'm going to come back over that with the ruler on the other side, just to make sure it stays nice and straight. Makes it a little easier for me. I don't have to be as careful when I'm filling it in. So I'm covering up what I don't want to be black with my ruler. And then I'm going to come back in and just create that nice straight line. One thing you want to be careful about is if you get marker on the back edge of your ruler, you just want to make sure you wipe it off and keep it nice and clean so it doesn't create any smudges. What we're doing basically is we're creating this cool black design, black line design, and then we're going to come back in and we're going to fill with oil pastel, okay? So I got some variety of line going there, and I'm happy with that. So we're going to move to the next step. Now it's going to draw 7 small circles anywhere on your design and fill them in with black marker, okay? So I'm going to go ahead. Now with this, if you want, you can use a template. So I'm going to use a template. If you don't have a template like this, don't worry. You can either just draw it by hand, or you can also you can use a compass if you really want to. 1, so I'm going to do 7. I'm going to come back and fill them in. So that's 3. They can overlap a line. Actually, at least one of them has to touch a line. 5. Then I'm just going to fill them in with black. Okay, so now I have my 7 dots, or 7 circles. And then I'm going to create 2 curved lines that begin on one of my small circles. So the rules are they can begin on the same circle, they don't have to begin on the same circle, and they do not need to end on a circle, okay? So I'm going to draw my first curved line. So we're going to do 2 curved lines, okay? Okay, so I did my 2 curved lines. Now you can come back and you can make one of them thicker if you want. I'm going to make one of mine thicker. And you don't have to do it right now. You can come back and do this in a little bit. Oops, wait, I'm going to do this one thicker. Okay, and so now I'm going to place 5 organic shapes of different sizes from very small to very large, and you don't fill those in, okay? And you want to make sure that it overlaps at least one line. Now, an organic shape is a shape that is curved, like in nature. Okay, so I'm going to create my shapes. Okay, so now I have 5 organic shapes, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, and at least one of them overlaps the line. Okay, so now we're going to add 3 geometric lines to my design. And geometric lines can have just one angle or many angles or be any combination of straight lines. Okay, so I'm going to use this is called a triangle. You don't need to use this, you can just use a regular ruler. But I'm going to create some lines here. I've got 1, 2, 3. That's plenty. You can add more if I want, but I'm good with that right now. And then, this is the final step. This is one of the most important steps. Is when you're done, you want to make sure that your design shows variety. You want to have thick and thin lines, different shapes and sizes. Make sure that it shows unity. So for example, do you have repeated elements in your art? Does it include repetition? And rhythm is going to be created through repetition and variety. Make sure that you leave some space for your colors when we go with our oil pastels. And look carefully and add any more lines that you want to complete it. And it can be curved, they can be geometric, they can be straight, whatever you want. So I'm just going to come back in, I'm going to look at my design, and I'm going to decide what else I want to do. So I just kind of made a mistake. If you make a mistake though, the trick with making a mistake as an artist is covering it up so that nobody knows that you made a mistake. And believe it or not, as artists, we have to do that all the time. So just, yeah, nobody will know, right? So I'm going to come back over the other direction. I'm going to even go a little thicker than what I need to cover it up too. Actually, come thicker as I go this way. Let's do it at a little bit of an angle. So this is what's called a tangent in art or in design, and tangents aren't really good. So I'm going to go a little bit thicker than I did. I'm going to keep this small, and I'm just going to cover up that so that there's no tangents, kind of like where 2 lines kind of almost touch, but they don't quite touch. It creates a little bit of awkwardness in your design. Okay, so I've got my design looking good. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna come back in and we're going to create the blends that we talked about. And we're gonna figure out where do you want your emphasis to be and what colors are you gonna use to create that emphasis. So there we go.